Hi, this is Terry from Fabric Junction, and I'm here today to show you another one of our 6.5 inch blocks that we have been posting on our blog at Fabric Junction Jewels, and how you can create other things with it. And today's block is Cat's Cradle. Now on the blog that'll go in my quilt, I have made 2 blocks, pretty blue, pretty purple, because all of my colors are blue, the purple's on the white background. But what I'm showing you when I'm helping you put these together is other colors, other combinations, other things you can do. Now what I'm doing are pot holders, but these blocks are so nice that you can make, you know, your pillows, your blankets. You can be creative, whatever you would like. Placemats, table runners, but as 6.5 inch blocks, they're giving you a lot of versatility. So with that, let's continue, and we'll make our cat's cradle. With that, it takes the 2 colors, as you have seen, and we need to create an interesting section with triangles. First part is done as a half square triangle. So to make my half square triangle, I have my 2 pieces. I use my 1/4 inch seam guide, I lay it on there. I mark it with a pencil. I make sure my pencil is very sharp so I can get a nice clean line. And then I sew the 2 together. And if you've watched me before, you know that this is the way I've done my half square triangles for most techniques, for most of the blocks. We sew, I flip it around. If I was doing a lot of them, I'd send them all through the machine at the same time. Grab the end, flip them around, send them back through. Because as you can see, this particular block has, a couple of them that you will make. Now on the instructions that are posted on the video, a lot of times I'll tell you to go ahead and cut and then make. But that's up to you. That is just the way I want you to understand that they do go in the half square triangle. So with that, we're going to press. And this time my darker side isn't a whole lot darker. I've got a real light contrast on these, but it gives me something to play with. Trim our dog ears. Okay, I need just one of these in each square. And I gotta remember, the light goes down because the dark theoretically goes next to that. So to put these together, now lay out my other one real quick so that I can have these done. There we go. So I'm going to put number 1 through, matching up the corner. So these little pieces have been kind of fun and different to work with. I don't normally work with them this small. Send my number 2 through. First one off. I'm going to give it a quick press and attach my other triangle to the other side. Now remember, it attached to the corner next to the light, and I'm not sewing the big side. Trust me, I've done them backwards, upside down, and everything else you could think of from different times. Oh, come on. Sometimes when I start with all those seam allowances in the corner, the machine's a little bit slower at wanting to go through them. And I think sometimes it's me, because I get that same little problem on any machine I've ever sewn with. So I figured it must be just the way I do it. There we go. Pressing my little parts. Now if I was doing a bunch of these, I would send them all through the machine at the same time. I'd take them all off and do all the steps. Okay, now that I have my pieces together to make my larger triangle, I line it up in the corner with my cut triangle. And sometimes I have a little extra on the large triangle. Sometimes it's the way I pieced, I have a little extra. But I always like to line it up with this corner first. And then I watch my intersection to make sure that I'm not going to cut my tip off. Hard to say on that one. Do the last one, and I'll have all my pieces, and then the pieces are set up just like a 9-patch. So the last step that I would do is sew them together just like I would if I was putting a 9-patch together. Ooh, that one went really nice. And then when I have a string of them, I go to my cutter, and then I'm going to press, and in this case they're getting pressed to the lighter side because that's the less bulky in this case. Cut off my dog ears, and then set it in my block. So now that I have all my pieces, and I have my block laid out, my squares, I would take this, flip it over so, and go right down the row, leaving them connected. I don't take them apart. And then I'll open them back up, and I'd come over here and do the same thing with this one. And now they're all stuck together with a string. I sew the other direction. And then I have my 9-patch sewn together. Now the one thing about doing these 6.5-inch squares, they're not quite big enough for my pot holder. So I will add a border. And in this case, I added a nice simple border. The pieces are 1.5 by 6.5 to the sides, to the top, and to the bottom. Now before I leave you on this particular one, I want to show you something else that was interesting. One of the other 6.5-inch blocks we made was called Birds in the Air. And this is it right here with a large a half square triangle and 2 triangles. It actually is the exact same thing we did for this one. And when I realized that, I thought, oh, this would be fun. Now, since I have the directions to make it large, all I have to do is cut out 6.5-inch squares for these, and I can create this as an 18-inch block and work with all these big pieces. And I thought, oh, how wonderful. That would give me an 18-inch pillow, or I just make a handful of them, and next thing I know, I have my quilt done. But anyway, to let you know that the corner, all by itself, is called Birds in the Air. So once I have my block put together, of course I need a back, in which I've cut my back bigger than I need. I have my batting, and this came out of my scrap. And then I cut a piece of Insulbrite. And I like using Insulbrite because then I don't have all that thickness, and it works as a great insulator. So I have my pieces, I take my block, I put it on top, and then I have been stitching in the ditch. And on this particular one, I stitched only on my little pieces. I didn't go around my big outside. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I didn't separate this out because I wanted this to look like it had the little fingers running off of it. You can do your free motion quilting, whatever you'd like. Then when you go to bind it, go to our video on binding a pot holder, in which I use a strip that's either 2 1/4 or 2 1/2. With that, I think you can now make your beautiful cat's cradle block into whatever you would like. So do check us out at our blog at Fabric Junction Jewels and our website. And I hope you enjoyed this block. I think it came out quite pretty, and I like kind of the muted tones that I used on this particular one. Again, thank you for watching.